guys, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to be covering my luxury and vintage handbag collection of 2021. Today we are going to cover 17 bags that I have. A little over half of them are going to be vintage bags and the rest of them new ones that I've recently purchased, as well as 2 bags that are not under the luxury category, but I wanted to cover them because I really like using them. If you are new here, thanks for dropping by and watching this. I am one half of Sam and Victor. We are Hong Kong-based content creators and we make videos on travel, photography tips, and occasional unboxings. If you're interested in that, please hit the subscribe button. We also post on Instagram and TikTok, so if you would like to check us out in those channels, feel free to do so. But just a heads up guys, a lot of my bags are not for functional purposes. I do buy bags just for the fun of it, and I don't have any rules about buying a bag and having to sell a bag. I just buy it because I like it, but I just love the story behind the bag, and I'll kind of talk to you more about every purchase and why I bought each bag. So let's get started. So my handbag collection skews very much towards Chanel classic flaps, but I'm gonna start with Celine first, and then we'll end up with Chanel. So up first is my Celine large trio in gray. This is a goatskin. I think I bought this in 2015. This was probably one of my very first luxury bag purchases that I made. You know, that was a time when we were all really into Phoebe Philo and her aesthetic, and I wanted to buy this and match it with my New Balance sneakers and wear a long coat and look like a cool French Parisian girl on the streets. I love carrying this when I go travel because it has so many pockets. Usually for this bag, I like to keep the front one where it says Celine empty so that, you know, it looks very nice and flat. And I usually put things that I don't want people to see, like, you know, pads and pens in the middle one. And in the back is where I keep the bulk of my stuff because I feel like that's where it's safest to keep it closest to my body, like my wallet and my keys. But this is my very first luxury bag purchase. Next up we have is Dior. I have 1.5 bags from Dior. I'm gonna explain why very soon. But my first bag that I wanna introduce you to is my Dior vintage Oblique saddle bag from the early 2000s, designed by John Galliano. To me, this was such an aspirational brand as a kid because I would flip through Vogue magazine and see the Dior ads and see this print. And this is something that I just bought because it just reminded me of my early teenage years, just dreaming about owning a Dior bag. I was thinking about buying a new one from the store, but seeing the prices, and that didn't even include the strap, I was a bit turned off, especially because this shape is not extremely practical, so I just decided to go with the vintage version of it. But I just wanted to collect it. As you can see here, there is a bit of yellow staining on the side, which is very normal for these Dior vintage bags. This comes in the pink Dior monogram in coated canvas. Inside is pink. You'll see there's the logo on the inside, and it's also made in Spain with the stamp on the underside of the label. This is a great little bag just to put your essentials in and if you want to do a coffee run. So sometimes I bring this out, but otherwise it is just hanging here on my shelf to remind me of how far I've come since I was a teenager. This is my half Dior bag because technically this is just a DIY. I remember last year, you know, during COVID and we were stuck at home, I was looking for fun DIY projects to do. And I saw a lot of resellers creating bags out of pouches, and I thought I could do the same. And so I found this Dior pencil case on Etsy, and I bought it because I really love this lavender purple, and I haven't seen this oblique pattern in purple except in this Dior pouch. And then I got these little lanyards and the chain to go with it, and I just punched a hole through it and made this into a bag. Yep, so that's it for my Dior collection. For me, the bobby bag and the book tote, those are pretty pricey, high ticket items. So I didn't know if those were items I would love in the long run, which is why I ended up buying these vintage ones, because for me, these really remind me of my early teenage years. I was obsessed with Chloe for a few years because I love that boho luxury aesthetic. So this one I got is called the Chloe Nile Minaudière. And this bag was actually a gift from Victor a few years ago. He bought it in Hong Kong. I was in Canada that time, and he brought it over. We went to Tim Hortons and he presented it to me, I think with a few roses. And that was very romantic in a way while we're having donuts. I love this bag because it is my one and only evening bag. I love the shape of it. It's very unique compared to all my other bags. It comes in this crescent dumpling shape. And I almost view it as a piece of jewelry because there are so many metal details on there that makes it really shine. You got this subway handle that you can wear during the evening, you know, with a long flowy dress, as well as there's a crossbody strap inside in leather. Because a lot of times I will bring this when we travel, and you know, if we're in the hotel, staying in the hotel and we want to go to the bar downstairs for a drink or for some dinner, I'll just bring a small bag like this, and I feel like it really adds a pop of something to my outfit. So moving on over to Fendi, this is my one and only Fendi bag. It is a vintage Fendi Baguette in patent leather. I got this, I think 2 years ago from a vintage seller here in Hong Kong. This is probably one of my most used bags because it is such a workhorse of a bag, and I don't mind getting this wet because it is this patent leather, so it is quite waterproof. I initially saw the re-edition of the Fendi Baguette a couple years ago, and I really loved how it came with, you know, like a long crossbody strap as well as the short one. But I didn't want to spend that much money on a new one, so I started going on a hunt for the vintage bags. I was also considering getting the coral orange one, which I thought was super fun, as well as the lilac one. Fendi does a lot of amazing colors in the vintage versions that I really wanted, but I ended up opting for a brown one because I felt like I would be carrying this more on the long run. And I've been using this so much. It is one of my favorite bags, weirdly enough. It comes with a very short strap, so you do have to wear it quite high up, right at the crook of your arm, under your armpit. But I love how this one kind of folds into itself. So you open it up like this. The buckle's really nice, even though there's no zip closure, but it's really nice because the weight of the logo keeps it closed very well. It is fabric lined, and I don't know, I just really like this bag. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just one of those bags I think I will keep forever in my collection because it is so functional and it adds just a little bit of that Y2K aesthetic that we were all really obsessed with last year. Next up, we have my one and only Louis Vuitton bag, which is a vintage bag. This one is the Lexington Pochette from their Monogram Vernis collection. Vernis means varnish in French. It's called that because of the shiny finish on this bag. I'm not so much an LV girl as I am Chanel, but I love how subtle the monogram is on this bag. I bought this bag because of the color. Look at this peppermint green, and it comes with this beautiful blue zipper, and inside, it came with the dust bag, which is amazing. It comes leather lined in the sky blue. And I bought this last year during the pandemic, and I just felt like I wanted something that reminded me of nature. This bag really just encapsulates to me the Microsoft screensaver. It's, you know, this, grass green with the blue sky interior, and I wanted to add something really fun into my collection because, I have a lot of neutrals here. They're quite serious that I don't mind adding a bit of color into it, so I decided on something small. This is a single strap mini bag. It comes in the vachetta leather, and it's been kept really well. As you can see, there's not much staining or darkening of the leather. And I just added an extra strap to it since I had leftover chain from the Dior pouch DIY to make it slightly longer if I wanted to have the option of having it worn lower. So this is my one and only Prada bag. It is a vintage bag from the 90s. I also got swept up into the Kendall Jenner, model trend of carrying a very subtle black hobo bag. And I found this one 2 years ago. It's not the official one that she carries because hers doesn't have the little ring hooks here. But mine has the ring hooks, and it's got this single strap. And this bag is such a workhorse along with my Fendi bag. I carry this bag at least once a week, especially when it rains in Hong Kong and I need a bag, for biking, and I just want to toss it in the front of the basket. Surprisingly, for a bag that looks this small, I can carry all my essentials in here. Anything that fits in a Chanel Classic medium flap can also fit in here. And I like how this bag is very discreet and it matches with most of my outfits. I also don't have a lot of black bags, and this is maybe my only one designer black bag. So welcome to my one and only Bottega Veneta bag. This is the padded cassette in the brown caramel color. I bought this last year in February or March. To be honest, this was an emotional purchase. Please don't come for me because of that. We were going through the second wave of COVID and I was just so frustrated with the situation and having to be so disciplined and doing a lot of stuff and keeping myself sane, basically, that I went out and was like, I'm gonna treat myself, and I purchased this bag. At the time, I was still waiting and on a hunt for the Chanel caramel bag, which wasn't coming at that time. So I bought this to kind of fill that void of having a brown bag. So this bag is super soft and squishy, and I felt like it was perfect during those times of the pandemic where I needed something to hug, like a pillow like this. And it reminds me of a pillow and a chocolate bar and a croissant all rolled into one. It's like my security blanket. Huh? You are too, but anyways. And it opens up. This magnetic closure that you can only see from the inside opens up to reveal a single main compartment with a back pocket. I've thought about selling this bag because I don't use it that much. It's not that I don't love this bag, but I feel like this bag is more suited for people who live in cooler climates. I feel like in Hong Kong it is so humid and hot that a bag that looks like a baguette or a large piece of caramel feels really warm. I've held off on selling this bag for now because I still love it and it's still sitting on my shelf. And I think this is a bag I'll be pulling out more often when it comes to winter. This far into the video, we are finally in the Chanel segment of this video. My first bag that I'm going to talk to you about today is my Chanel Gabrielle backpack in the small size. This is the very first bag that I purchased from the boutique directly back in 2017-18. This is the white calfskin with the ruthenium gold mixed hardware chain. I usually keep this base on the bottom just to protect the bottom from getting any scratches. The first time I walked into the Chanel store, I was actually on the hunt for a Chanel classic flap in white, but they didn't have one at the time. So I ended up just browsing the store, seeing what else they had. And then I saw this sitting on the shelf and I thought, hey, why not just try it because it still is in the white. I was able to try it on the first day, go home, think about it, and then come back the next day to buy it. It's not like these days where you have to decide right on the spot whether or not you want it. I feel like I should do a review on this someday, but anyways, because there's a lot of pros as well as a lot of cons for using this bag. So what I really love about this bag is that it is a very modern take on the Chanel classic flap. It's got the quilting and the CC logo. So this bag is kind of like a drawstring pouch. You just open it from here to reveal one very large compartment. There's no zipper to access it. I usually keep it stuffed to keep the shape, even though it's not really helping that much. There keeps being a crease on the back, which really bothers me. But anyways, I have a Samorga organizer. Inside, you're gonna see is red fabric lining and one small pocket. I love carrying this bag when I travel because it's a very casual bag. When I purchased this bag, I had no idea how to maintain or keep Chanel bags. And honestly, it is not in its best condition. The leather on the chain strap has really worn down like crazy. They say not to wear jeans with it, but I love wearing jeans. And over time, the band of my jeans has been rubbing against the chain, causing the leather to fray off. But one of the essays told me I could send this back to Chanel for repair, although they would have to send it to France. And I just didn't want to wait for like a few months to use this bag again, because I do use this bag quite often. It is one of those bags I really love wearing when I need to photograph my back, because it just makes a nice accessory to photograph and feature when we're doing travel photography. This bag I've taken on many, many trips. I think this bag has been with me to Paris, to Bali, anywhere, I would take this bag. And so the upkeep isn't really that great. The best thing about this bag, I have to say, is because it is a very vertical bag, you can actually store a bottle of water in here, which is what I really like about the Gabrielle backpack compared to the Chanel Classic Flap, which you can't really store much liquid in. But this one sits really well with a bottle up, and you can't really see it when it's closed. A lot of you guys probably didn't know I owned this bag unless you saw pictures of it on Instagram a few years ago. It is my red lambskin single flap bag from Numero 82. Numero 82 is an offshoot of the brand J.Crew in Tokyo. As you might know, the best places to buy vintage in Japan is Amore Vintage and J.Crew. But unfortunately, they closed their Hong Kong branch down, so that's one less place for you to get Chanel bags in Hong Kong. But this one is a single flap, and it comes in that really buttery Chanel leather that they're known for. It's pretty beat up. I don't know if it's because I did this or the previous owners, but it's kind of black on the back, but it is so freaking soft. There is the CC logo in the front, very discreet, stitched on there. And the chain is the 24K gold plating. I do wear this bag more for local festive holidays, such as Chinese New Year and Christmas, because I feel like this red really is for the holiday season. And next up, we have my holy grail of bags. You guys are no stranger to this bag. This is my forever bag. This is the medium classic flap from the 21P collection in brown with light gold hardware. This bag was a gift from Victor. He's been wanting to purchase a Chanel bag for me. The rest of them are bought by myself. And I wanted to wait for the bag in the combo that I wanted. So when this finally came out for the spring collection, I just jumped on it and got this bag. It is still my favorite go-to bag. It still gives me so much joy when I carry it. This one is in this super luxurious, creamy lambskin leather, and I'm still using it right now, so I'm just gonna show you. It's got all my stuff in it. I do also keep the original felt protector because I feel like the zipper on the interior pocket always scratches the top of the flap. So I keep it on the inside just to avoid it from scratching it any further. I've come a long way since I got the Gabrielle backpack, so I am very careful with my bags now. I think out of all my bags, this is my very favorite one just because of the story behind it. And as you guys know, I've been waiting for 3 years to get a brown Chanel bag. And now for my latest purchase. This is the Chanel 21A Dove Gray Small Classic Flap that I got as a birthday gift to myself this year. I did a video on this recently, which I'll link above. I've always wanted a small classic flap after seeing a lot of my girlfriends own one, and I think it's such a cute little size compared to the medium. And I love how this is also a neutral, but something different from the rest of my more beige caramel colored bags. Also, this is my very first Caviar leather bag. I'm more of a lambskin leather girl because I love how luxurious and thick lambskin feels. But I thought I would try Caviar just to understand why Chanel Caviar lovers love the Caviar leather, if that makes any sense. But I heard from a lot of Caviar leather lovers that Caviar is more durable, and I thought I would try it just to see if that was really the case. Even though this is a small size, I feel like this is a really great everyday bag. It could also work well for the evening if you're looking for something with a little more substance as opposed to like the Chloe Nile bag. And I think this is such just a pretty color, and I really love having this in my collection. Here's another one from my Chanel vintage collection. I got this one from Numero 82 as well. This is the camera bag in exotic leather, specifically lizard, and it comes in beige with a 24K gold-plated hardware chain. And it comes with this massive tassel, which I think is so fun, and I love it because not only is it a nice design detail, it really helps to close the bag when I need to close it very quickly. If I could only bring one Chanel to travel with me, it'd probably be this one, because this one, like when they talk about Chanel bags being more sturdy than the modern ones, it's not a joke. I've used this bag and taken this bag everywhere with me, and as you can see, look at the corners, they look practically new. And I wear this bag with dark colored jeans. There's no color transfer. I bring this bag with me everywhere, put it everywhere, and you don't see any scuffing or any dents or dings on this bag. Because it's so square, it holds a lot of stuff, as much as a Chanel Classic medium bag. I love this bag mostly because of the color, this beige color. Chanel also discontinued using exotic leathers a few years ago. I'll show you a few of my outfits I've styled with it, but I've carried it everywhere. I love how you can crossbody it. It's very easy. It's also very light because it doesn't come with the extra flap. It's like one of my favorite Chanel bags, even though it is not a classic flap. This is my one and only Chanel mini bag, also from the 21P collection, same as my medium. I bought this after I sold my Chanel vintage brown one. That's where that one went because I wanted to fund for the Chanel mini because it's so expensive. And this one is also in the same caramel color with the light gold hardware and is a single flap bag, which I really like because it does make the bag a lot lighter than the double flap classics. Even for me at 5'8", I feel like the strap is a little on the long side and a bit too long compared to the medium. If you feel that the small and the medium classic flap chain is a bit awkward because it does sit a bit high on the bust, that this is the great alternative to that. As you guys know, Chanel minis are really hard to find these days, so I'm really glad I found this one in the neutral of my dreams, and it goes really well with the rest of my collection. So we are finally on my last Chanel bag. This is my white medium classic double flap lambskin bag. This is the one bag I was actually originally looking for when I walked into the Chanel store and ended up getting my Gabrielle backpack. I wanted a stark white Chanel lambskin instead of a creamy color that a lot of people are looking for, because I wanted something that would easily match with a lot of my white cotton tees or dress shirts. I didn't want to figure out if like the white was more like yellow white versus like a cool white, so I just wanted something that was super white that would match everything. And I also wanted specifically in the 24K gold-plated hardware, which automatically means it had to be a vintage. So I finally found this one from a vintage seller here in Hong Kong. She sells a lot of Hermes and Chanel bags, and I went to go take a look at this bag and I just fell in love with it because this bag was literally purchased in 1991 or 1994, and you can tell that whoever owned it previously just bought it and never took it out. This bag came full set, so it does come with the dust bag, the authenticity card, and the original box, which just so happens to be the special packaging that you get for when you purchase bags in Paris. And you can tell that she never took it out because when I touched it, the leather is slightly drier than my other vintage Chanel lambskin bags. But I started airing it out more and using it more, and now it's become quite soft compared to when I first got it. I just love how the 24K gold plating really plays off this really bright white leather. I wore a blue dress and got some color transfer on the corners, and I started panicking. And I took a wet wipe from my storage and I started wiping the corners with it, and it just completely disappeared. So don't be afraid of buying lambskin, especially vintage, because I feel like the vintage lambskin in the past really does hold well compared to the ones from the boutique today. It is so hard to find white vintage bags that look like they were just bought from the store. So I love this bag because it really does match with anything I wear, even more so than sometimes with the caramel colored one, because white is just the perfect all-round neutral. And I'm gonna show you some outfits that I've styled this with, or some photos I've taken with this bag. And this is one of the bags that I've been looking for, and I'm so happy that I finally found it in immaculate vintage condition. All right, last but definitely not least are two non-luxury bags that I thought I would cover here anyway, because they really do complete my collection for what they are. The first one is the Rattan Bali bag. Yes, a lot of influencers were carrying this a few years ago when they went to Bali, and I know this bag went for a crazy amount of money when I saw them online in a lot of American boutiques. But I purchased this one in Bali on my birthday a few years ago. It has that smoky wood scent fragrance to it, and it comes in this funky little interior lining. I really love taking this bag around as a daily bag, even though sometimes the rattan does scratch a lot of my more flimsy dresses, and that's the annoying thing about this bag. But I really like how this is my only circular bag. It's very light. I now generally use this more for when we go on boating trips and yacht trips here in Hong Kong. It's very popular to have junk trips over the weekends, and I usually use this bag because it's very easy and I'm not afraid to get it wet per se. And I love this color because it's also a neutral. And for my last bag, which is a tote, it is not a book tote or a Chanel Deauville, but it is my Madewell leather bag. I got this one in 2014 or 15 when I was traveling to San Francisco and was looking for a very simple tote bag I can carry all my stuff in, and this one I found to be the best. This one comes with raw finished edges on the straps and along the edge. I usually take this one with me when I travel or have work. For my line of work, which is doing a lot of prop styling and photography, I usually need a bag that I don't really care about putting on concrete grass, on dirt roads or pavement. And for me, like a book tote or a Chanel Deauville would be a bit too precious for me to use for those work trips. And I usually stuff this bag with a lot of my props for when we go shoot. So I love this bag, and it's been like my go-to tote bag for the last few years. It's pretty scuffed up, but it's okay because it's just a casual leather bag I got from the store. And I love this cognac color brown because it does go with a lot of my outfits. I like taking to the beach as well because it does go really well with, you know, a straw hat and a cute one-piece swimsuit. It comes with this small leather coin purse, which I usually carry, like if I go swimming, like my membership card and my MTR card. And it's just one large compartment, nothing more to it. It's very simple, straightforward, but this just does the job for me on a daily basis. All right, you guys, we have just covered my entire vintage and luxury bag collection for 2021. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. For me, I feel like before I buy a bag, I really like to understand the heritage and history of a brand, which is why I don't have that many bags from other brands, because I don't really understand or have not really read up on it. That's the thing I really enjoy about, you know, purchasing luxury or vintage bags. It's for the story behind each bag, not just for its function and its use. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.